Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play, where we're going to dive back into Elite Zoo North. That's right, folks, we are headed back to a fond memory of Season 1, I suppose, as we dive on into Elite Zoo North for a couple of reasons. For one, we haven't really done it at all over the course of this season so far, even though we sort of mentioned we'd do it from time to time. I mean, we went back once or twice, but it was for like a 30-second visit to, to pick up an animal or whatnot. Two, in the comments of the previous session, when it was just kind of like vaguely suggested that maybe we should do it, there were so many comments in support of it, just suggesting that, yeah, we should totally go back, we should check out the old animals, we should, check out the new coats and everything that came with the new update. All that passion is definitely a huge driver for the decision over here. With today's episode, and reason number 3 is that Elite Zoo North has some issues that need fixing. And this is where the beauty of franchise mode comes in, right? Season 2 is all about Elite Zoo South, sure, but this is the throwback episode where we go back to Elite Zoo North. We remember the North, as it were, as the North remembers us, I suppose. And we try to solve the problems we're having, because when we left Elite Zoo North at the beginning of this season, it was at $2 million, if I recall correctly. Moose bucks, as it were, because we are in Canada. And now it's not. Happiness is also down. We were like, everyone was happy when we left. And now it's not. And that's over the course of two, again, 30-second, 1-minute long visits. And that's a problem. So there is some work to be done. So today's episode, I thought it'd be nice to go back to Elite Zoo North, at the start of a new month. Take a look at some of the old enclosures, the old animals. A lot of the time people mention in the comments, they make reference to an enclosure and somebody else mentions, oh, I don't know what you're talking about, I didn't see that, or whatever it might be. So we can take a look at some of those, key enclosures as well from Elite Zoo North and sort of go through those too, for those of you that are unfamiliar especially. But yeah, also, again, we get to see these old animals with their, new updates and whatnot. I thought that'd be pretty interesting. Now, I just want to mention, if you like this idea, then please don't hesitate to let me know, as always, with a like and a comment down below. If you don't like the idea of going back to Elite Zoo North, let me know down below as well. Leave a comment, give me some feedback, because, as always, I read through all of the comments. It is a great way for me to know exactly how people feel about certain things, exactly what people are looking for, and I can kind of course correct and adjust accordingly. Personally, I'm really excited for this, and I saw, again, it was because of the comments of last session with the sheer level of like, yeah, let's go back, let's go back, let's go back. That's what made this episode what it's going to be. So, that's why I keep saying, leave those comments, let me know how you're feeling, what you're thinking. So yeah, a bit of a special episode, I suppose. Now, a couple things to mention. Elite Zoo North is going to be laggy. It's, the piece count is through the roof. I don't think numbers go that high. The piece count is through the roof. There's a lot of animals. There's a lot of complicated enclosures. All sorts of wild stuff going on. So just a heads up. But it'll only be laggy when we've hit play. If we're paused, we're fine. So we're probably going to go around looking at enclosures and stuff while paused. Just to, again, showcase and see the animals and whatnot. And when it comes time to manage and improve the situation, that's when we're going to hit play, and we are going to be dealing with a little bit of lag, and hopefully it's not entirely unbearable. I believe that's everything there was to mention. Let's go ahead and dive on in, and as we do so, because it will take a minute to load, as we dive on in, folks, I just want to mention my once-a-month mention of, if you have been really enjoying this series on the channel, then I humbly request that you consider maybe becoming a channel member or patron. My Patreon link can be found under the I at the top right corner of the screen. You'll also find it in the description down below. And if you'd rather not use a third party, you'd rather not do, Patreon, you can become a channel member instead. To do that, you click the join button that's right below the video, or a link to that will be in the description as well. Think of it like a Twitch subscription or like a Netflix subscription, if you will, except here it's not obligatory to have access to the videos or anything. You can there's no obligation there. Don't feel pressured or anything. It's why I try not to mention it too often, just once a month, because I've been told I don't mention it at all, and that's that's not smart either. So yeah, if you'd like to show some extra support in that way, links in the description or under the I at the top right corner as well for Patreon. Just want to mention it as well, as always, with being a channel member or patron comes a unique set of perks for Planet Zoo as well. One of those perks is to have your name added on as one of our staff members. And it doesn't have to be your name directly. Obviously, you can say, oh, I want a staff member named XYZ, whatever it might be. So that's one thing you can do as a channel member or patron. And also, not one or the other, and also you can sponsor an animal. This was a really cool suggestion. I mention it every time. It was a really cool suggestion that I fell in love with the moment it came through. And just to show you an example, I said, oh, look at this kid. This kid is excited for us to be at Elite Zoo North. Oh my God. Oh, this kid too. These guys are just like, woo. What do they do? They're going to slip and fall, man. This is not safe. This is not safe ground to be doing that on. Yo, they're excited too. Are they like celebrating my return here? What are you, why are all these kids, what's going on over here? What are you, it's like a flash mob. What's happening? Everyone's, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so an example of what sponsorships look like, because I think they're a fun little thing we have going on in our zoo. Is yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll get to you. Don't worry. That's probably because we haven't hit play yet. But yeah, we do little decorative elements and everything. We have a name with like signage around it. So that's, for example, our peafowl. We try to do something unique for every animal. Well, that's neat. We try to do something unique for every animal. So, for example, our tigers have like this lower board, so you can kind of see who the sponsors are as you're looking at the animal. We've got let's see. Try not to give too much of the zoo away while we just look at some of these, because again, I think it's a cool idea. It fits into the world of a zoo. I mean, zoos having people who sponsor animals to ensure they're well taken care of and stuff is totally a thing. But here are our Arctic wolf sponsors too. Like we've got again, unique signage for everybody. We've got names in there. So again, if you're a channel member, just let me know in the comments down below. A little icon shows up next to your name, so I know you're a member, and I can obviously note it down. If you're a patron, shoot me a private message as well. Now, many of y'all sent me messages and stuff last month. I still have those listed down, but don't hesitate to, remind me if you're worried about that. Feel free to do that. And next episode, we're going to go through, we're going to apply the sponsor board. I thought I mispronounced that. We're going to apply the sponsor boards to Elite Zoo South, and we're going to get the new staff names implemented as well. And those sponsorships, let's try and focus on Elite Zoo South sponsorships so we can make it as a part of our beauty pass, which I hope to do next session or the session afterwards. Anyway, enough of a long, rambling introduction. I apologize. That is a long intro today, but there was a lot to talk about because we're definitely doing something a little different. First order of business is let's make it daytime. Probably, it's impossible to see anything in this. Well, I guess it's the morning, but let's make it noon, a little half past noon, just so we can see things more clearly. And it's rather beautiful that it should be snowing over here, considering it is our our northern zoo. This is in Canada, where it is known to snow all the way up until May, and starting from November, maybe even not so much. Usually, at least in Toronto, Halloween is not snowy. It also adds a little bit of mystery. I kind of I like this a lot, actually. Honestly, last episode or the episode before, someone left a comment saying Planet Zoo really is a postcard generator, and I mean, yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and start looking at some stuff, actually. And I'm trying to figure, I apologize if this episode is a little a little all over the place. It's because I'm excited to share, and because there is so much to share, and I'm trying to share for people who are familiar with Elite Zoo North and those who aren't. So, I guess one of the first things to touch on is our welcome sign and our goodbye sign that we will absolutely be implementing in Elite Zoo South as well. We'll figure out a nice way to integrate them. I wonder if I should just hit play for just a little bit. Oh, we've got some overcrowding and stuff going on as well. Tickets are underpriced. Well, don't mind if I fix that. Hang on a second. Okay, I need to do management stuff later. They think these tickets are underpriced? Why is money so poor? That's a serious problem. Okay, we'll look at all that later. We'll look at all that later, otherwise I'll get distracted constantly. So that's our entrance. You can see now why at Elite Zoo South well, actually you can't, because our settings, which might be part of the reason why our money's so low. If you go to game, go to guest settings, maximum guests. Okay, do not limit the number of guests. I didn't say to leave that window. And let's go ahead, and I think 8,000 is like the sweet spot. Okay, do not limit the number of guests. Okay, that will hopefully help. But this section gets super crowded, and people can barely move through here, which is why at Elite Zoo South we've got that more kind of wide spread out entrance area. One of the things you'll often see mentioned is Om Nom Nom. Om Nom Nom is actually a relatively new construct over here. Well, it's always been over here, but it used to be a part of the Galapagos tortoise enclosure that used to actually be on both sides of this welcome sign. And we'd have the tortoises going over the little hill in the middle and down onto the other side, which proved to be a difficult task for a slow animal. And we'd have their food on one side and their water on the other side. They were always upset. So the Galapagos tortoises instead have been moved into the wonderfully named Tortuga Galapagos, where they have, you know, a lot of space to play. It is a walk-through enclosure. They get stressed from time to time, but that's why we've got these bushes down to give them some privacy and whatnot. I don't think tortoises or anything have actually, hang on. Where is the father, as it were? Is he still the father? Dad. Or did he die right at the end of our reign at Elite Zoo North? Hang on now, did he really? I think he might have. Oh man, I can't remember. It was so long ago. We had a pair, a Galapagos tortoise pair that lasted from the beginning of Elite Zoo North right to the end, and it really was something special. It was something special. We've got these little like tortoise-looking rock shelters built for them as well. And like Om Nom Nom over here has a second floor, and the reason why it's called Om Nom Nom is because of all the food stalls at the top over here, which were super unpopular at the beginning. Nobody went to them, but eventually they ended up becoming really popular. Now over here, again, we're gonna have signs like this throughout Elite Zoo South as well, welcoming you to certain like areas, and as you leave those areas as well, you'll have the leaving sign as well. We've got another example nearby, actually. Entering West and South Asia. We kind of grouped based on how navigation and stuff was going to work. But why not, let's go ahead and take a look at our wolves first. There's quite a few reasons to look at the wolves first. Man, every child is celebrating right now. Like, celebrate. Artia has returned. Even the adults are all celebrating. Anyway, so yeah, the wolf enclosure. Specifically, Wolf Rock. Our first enclosure ever. Very simple. Super simple. Hole in the ground so the animals can't escape. Couple rocks here and there as decorative elements. Little pool over here with a mini waterfall. Oh, that looked quite nice. And it's actually got this little underpass over here that leads to glorious looking Inukshuk, especially in all this snow. Again, it's an indigenous sculptural piece that we were referencing over here. I won't get into too much detail, because if I get into detail about every piece of cultural reference, this will be a 7-hour episode. But yeah, we have like a little like space up over here for our wolves to climb onto. But let's look at the animals themselves, shall we? I mean, geez, you look exactly the same as before. Red-brown fur coat with dark mottling. Is that red-brown? I don't know if that's red-brown. Okay, let's see if maybe we have to hit play for it to all load in. No. Some of these guys definitely look different. Oh, yes, look at that. That, to me, is, oh, weird. I was going to say this looks like red-brown to me, but this is gray-brown. Okay. It's a degree of brown at the very least. Also a little different over here. Oh, how I missed you guys. Oh, so cute little puppers. Gray-brown fur coat with dark mottling. Yeah, sure, I guess that matches the description. What do we got over here? Thirsty-looking wolf. Gray-brown fur coat. Interesting. Are you also gray-brown? I guess you are. All right. I would really expect these guys down over here. It's so weird seeing all their stats and stuff again. They do look very different from how I remember them, but it has been so long, maybe I don't remember them well. Gray brown fur coat. They're all pretty similar, unfortunately, for our look at the variety of coats, except for Buddy over here, who actually, despite having red in the coat-like description, looks the furthest thing from it. Interesting, interesting. But yeah, that's our wolf enclosure. And again, I'd love to okay, let's go ahead and hit play for a second. Yeah, you can see the frame rate. Okay, yeah, let's keep it paused. Let's keep it paused. Then next up, we've got our beautiful, beautiful bears. This, by the way, this was built later. This little covering over here was built after our zoo was, I don't know, like 30, 40, 50 episodes old or something. We realized we needed something to block the snow and the rain and make this area a bit more comfortable. Oh, you know what? This was built after the Arctic DLC for sure. And I found this funny, by the way. Arctic DLC released on episode 20 of season 1, and the Australia DLC released around episode 20 of season 2, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, on this side, we have our bears. Oh, look at that big boy over here. Or big boy or big, yeah, big boy. Chocolate brown fur. Are you about to drop some of your chocolate brown? Yes, you are. Oh my god. Come on, game, seriously? There's so much detail. Why has it got, like, so much detail? Anyway, it is what it is. So that's Dad, I suppose. Where are our... Oh. What do we got going on over here? What's wrong with Laura? Hope she's alright. We have one of our younger bears, or I think when we left Elite Zoo North, we didn't have any baby bears, which would be unfortunate because they are adorable. Super fun to look at. Take a look here. Yeah, we did not have any babies when we left, I suppose. But Laura being carried. Okay, we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll keep an eye out for that, because I do want to see our bear pair, if you will. But that is the Grizzly Grove. Yeah, so these two were relatively early enclosures, and you can see how simple they were. But there are some really nice features, actually, in Grizzly Grove that I should highlight. We've got this, like, running creek, if you will, where the water kind of goes down this way. And you can see, like, with the effects in place, this is the kind of stuff that I want to do in Elite Zoo South as well. It's like, with the effects in place, you can see it does kind of feel like water is rushing through. And as it kind of rushes through, hits some of these rocks along the way. There's a nice waterfall over here. And a little, like, space for the animals to, like, drink from and whatnot down over here. Work zone setup. How did my work zone setup get screwed up? What's going on? It's like a lot of things just broke when we left, I guess. Our work zones. I thought everything was properly. We do have some issues, it seems. Like, we should, if in our China, or I guess it was East Asia, right? East Asia area. Yeah, it's weird. There are some things. Maybe we never assigned them, but that's so strange to me. But all the enclosures are assigned and everything. Otherwise, they'd be marked red, so they shouldn't be having these issues. I'm not sure what's going on. It does concern me, but we're not supposed to be doing management right now. My apologies. I keep getting distracted because it upsets me to see the animals not be perfectly happy and all that. Alright, so that's the wolves and the bears. But if we take a look at... I'm not going to look at every animal with this much, like, level of detail, by the way. I just want to touch on a couple. We do have the Baird's Tapir over here as well. So the Baird's Tapir got Tapir Tavern next to them. And you might remember me mentioning Tapir Tavern a couple of sessions ago when I was making reference to the building we just finished, Camp Capuchin. And talking about how Tapir Tavern, you can tell, you can see how in my opinion at least, you can see how far we've come along with building buildings and enclosures and stuff. This was a massive undertaking, but I mean, I don't hate it or anything. I still like it. I still think it's cute. I like our little, like, beer stein and whatnot. But compared to Camp Capuchin, which is so much more cozy and all that, I feel like it's funny to come back to Tapir Tavern. Also, we did build our own custom pool tables, so, points for that, I suppose. And our own custom fireplace as well, which, there we go. Boom, there it is. Our own custom fireplace that I don't think ever got any use. I don't think it ever got any use. But yeah, the tapirs themselves are at Tapir, which is a pier. Huh? Yeah? Get it? From where you can gaze upon the adorableness of the tapirs. And again, like a completely different type of enclosure between Elite Zoo North and South, which is kind of what... Oh, it is not so cute. It's kind of what has me really happy with how Elite Zoo South has been going, is that even when we have the same animals, the enclosures look and feel very, very different. And then the last one to touch on over here, I would say, is Yanasi Plains, where we did this huge experiment with the eagle eye. Yanasi Plains itself hosts 2 animals. We've got our pronghorn antelopes and our bison. And if we actually head back a little bit... Ooh, right, can't forget about the memorial. So this is the memorial we built for all of the animals in the zoo, named after Nakedra, our first baby wolf. And we've actually got a whole sculpture going on over here, like her life story kind of represented back over here, built out of rocks and some of the sculptural pieces that are available in the base game. Had a lot of fun with this. But yeah, this is a memorial that we built for all of our animals. But anyway, that's not what I was going to look at. I got distracted by by the memorial. If we head on, if I can remember how to get there, man, our zoo is big. Our zoo is massive. If we head back this way, past the bears, let's go back over here. Yeah, past the wolves, between the wolves and bears, we can come down over here for a more like intimate view of the wolves and an intimate view of the bears as well, you know, if there are any down over here. We can pass through Creature Cavern, which is where we kind of built like a lizard hut, if you will, house, whatever you want to call it. Little food court over here that's very busy when, you know, it's actually unpaused. But if you come through all the way, this was such a complex structure to like build from a technical perspective. We've got this like really high viewing point to look down upon the animals. And it can get pretty busy. At first, I was super worried that it wouldn't be popular at all. But it was a lot more popular than I anticipated, actually. And you get some good views of the animals, I would say. This is a really cool spot to be in and look down upon the animals. I would spend a lot of my time, if this was a real zoo, I would spend a lot of my time at a spot like this. But yeah, that is the eagle eye, gazing down upon all of the animals of Yanasi Plains. So I've been doing this kind of like stacked naming and construction for a while. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the wilder enclosures that we've built, I think, because again, this episode is going to focus entirely at Elite Zoo North. I don't want to like do a tour. If you want a tour episode 100 of Elite Zoo North, of Season 1 rather, is a full-on tour. This is more just like revisiting some key places, I suppose, and looking at some of those coats. In fact, do the tigers have coats? You'll notice, by the way, the tiger enclosure. Maybe it'll be familiar to some of you. I'll give you an opportunity to guess. The enclosure itself is called Bagraba, if that helps you guess. And it's a tiger head that you can get inside and get some, you know, not the greatest views of the animals, I'll be honest. But it was a fun experiment for sure. If we head back down, I don't have to stick to the paths, I know that. Go ahead and unbox you. I'm not sure why you're boxed up. Need to take a look at these animals. I don't know if they have unique coats. Orange cat with black stripes. Orange coat with black stripes. I mean, I wasn't wrong the first time, but yeah, light orange coat. Okay, so these two are... It's hard to tell. One's a baby, one's an adult. What about you? You are light orange coat. So they're both light orange coat with black stripes. So they look fairly similar. But yes, we have had fun with the Bengal tigers, I would say. Their enclosure was another challenge. This thing is all terrain sculpting and using rocks afterwards to add some like angles and stuff. But yeah, it's again, I gave you enough time to guess. This is the reference to the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin, having that open maw of a tiger. Definitely where I drew the inspiration from. This one took a lot of effort as well. It was many episodes that it took us to kind of nail the look right. But moving on from that, I think it'd be a nice idea to take a look at our elephant's enclosure over here, because honestly, the Ivory Palace is probably one of the more complex structures that we have built in in terms of just like piece count and trying to nail a look over here, trying to build a temple, if you will, to not actually, but you know, it's the reference is that it's a temple structure to the commonly known as elephant god, I suppose, Ganesh, who is a very prominent figure in Hinduism and large parts of India, of course, where Hinduism is practiced. That was the idea there, so driven by a lot of like temple architecture styles and whatnot. And honestly, this is probably partly responsible for the frame rate we get at Elite Zoo North. I mean, these are all individual pillar pieces stacked on tops of individual like trim pieces and stuff. This is a complex structure. So yeah, when it comes to building facades and things, we can get pretty wild, I would say. Pretty wild. And on that note, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these elephants, and I hope maybe, I don't know if they'll have too much variation. Oh. I stand corrected. I mean, these two look very different. Granted, one's male, one's female, but they look very, very different, I would say. So maybe there's differences even when coats aren't marked as different, I suppose. Or is it just a difference between male and female? Yeah, this definitely looks different. The ear and whatnot. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it's been a while. It has been a while. But that does look pretty different, I would say. So that's the elephants. I mean, we also have... Oh, hello, buddy. Chilling over here. Yeah, maybe it is a male-female thing. Because our male elephant, Advik, over here, he kind of has it, but he's a lot darker, and that's a lot more brown rather than pink, I would say, on the trunk. Even though it says pink mottling. The ear is also... I don't know. Like, they look very different. I'm not... Right? Like, they look very different. What about you, buddy? You're male as well? Yeah, maybe it's a male-female difference. I don't know. I do not know. Now, going through the elephant enclosure is also an interesting ride that we built, which is the Riverboat Ride. And you can actually go through the enclosures over here, and we go wide out so you can get a nice clear view of the enclosure. It goes all the way around and actually ties into our rhino enclosure section as well, which is right over here. It's a continued theme. They look very similar. And in fact, the boat continues on, goes around the bend over here, and you can... Often you'll catch a rhino kind of roaming around this area. I don't know if rhinos have different coats either. Probably not. Brown, gray, bumpy skin. Yeah, you don't say bumpy skin, eh? Light gray, bumpy skin. Hard to tell. One's a kid as well. Very hard to tell. I mean, we knew the wolves would have different coats, but we didn't know for sure about anything else. So I guess it's a good way to find out. But as that same ride continues on, it brings you down towards the Southeast Asia section as well, which I do want to touch on a couple of spots in the Southeast Asia section. Particularly one that you will often see mentioned. So this is our Komodo dragon, the Temple of Ora, which the Komodo dragon might get some love at Elite Zoo South as well. I'm pretty pleased with this large section, this large like space for them to kind of take a dive in. We've got this like broken ruins kind of aesthetic going on over here. Further down as well, you'll see we've got these this kind of like, again, broken ruins aesthetic. These steps having fallen off on the way up to the top of the shrine or the temple, if you will. And even back over here, we have a not so popular food court type area. It's just a little tucked away and far in the corner of the zoo, so it doesn't see that much action. But again, kind of thematically going with like the ruined temple, really inspired by Indonesian architectural styles and colors and things like that. This was also a very big undertaking and discovery moment as well. These are actually India pieces that have been recolored to look like the stone constructs, I suppose. But the piece I actually want to share in Southeast Asia is Orangutango, and the much larger, I guess, orangutan. Orangutan's a very interesting enclosure, and it kind of alludes to what I might do with the jaguars at Elite Zoo South. We've got this little bridge crossing over here that allows our orangutan to go from one side to the other side. On one side, we have like a nice kind of treehouse play structure kind of a thing. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Long time no see. Red, orange fur, and brown skin. You don't say. You don't say. We'll see if they have variants as well. I have my doubts, actually. Pretty similar looking, I guess. But yeah, we have a little, like, treehouse area. We've got, like, some resting spots as well. Got some of their food enrichment items as well. So they have reason to come to this side. And if they want to go to the other side, they're able to go through this tunnel. And people are actually able to walk underneath it, no problem. The animals are able to go through the tunnel. And they have this huge space where they can eat, drink, and even have access to this set of stairs that bring them up over here. Like Buddy over here, who is also, I assume, rusty red fur and brown skin. Like, oh man, look at that injury. So cool that the injuries are modeled like that. But yeah, so I guess a little different. It's hard to tell some of the color differences. I suppose you're a bit more bright, but lighting is different. Everything is different from the other side, so it is hard to tell. Fantastic, though. Absolutely beautiful. As I zoom in on the butt, absolutely beautiful. Like the way the fur and everything looks. But yeah, the other aspect is Orangutango, which is this little tunnel we built. Which it was a bit of a challenge to get it working properly, but it does work properly. Oh, little baby over here. It does work properly. People do use this space, and it's really cool to see it in action when people take this tunnel through the enclosure. The space can get so crowded, and out the other side towards the Temple of Aura. So again, right, building glass tunnels and stuff. This was a technical challenge, which I really enjoyed, you know, sort of playing around with, because we explored something which I didn't know previously if it was going to be possible in Planet Zoo, but it very much was. It took a lot of effort to actually enclose it and make sure the animals couldn't escape by jumping off or anything like that. We had to, yeah, it was a lot of time and effort for sure. And this thing we had to rebuild like 3 or 4 times because with a couple of updates, the way the game calculated climbing changed, and so it was a problem. And actually, I have reason to suspect that that might be a problem right now as well. Let's just take a quick look here at your no habitat traversable area. It looks like we're still okay. They can't climb this anymore. It might just need to be recalculated. But looks like we're still okay because they still have this stairway, the stairs as an option as well, which was initially, and it is still primarily for our keepers to be able to access both sides of the, like both halves of the enclosure. I really like Orangutango and Orangutown. I feel like they're super cool from like a technical perspective. I feel like there's a lot of viewing angles. They always bring us a lot of money. So very much a fan of Orangutango and Orangutown. But that's, okay, so that's Southeast Asia. We looked at the tigers, looked at the elephants. I'm just trying to figure out what else to, like, kind of focus on. I've got so many requests for so many things, and it's so hard to pick and choose. We have our Arctic Circle area as well. This, I mean, we often make reference to the Polar Bear Mafia. The Polar Bear Mafia, they are situated all the way up over here in a little like Santa's little workshop kind of a thing. And the views are like always terrible. We built them a massive space because that's what they need. And they like this massive space and they use this massive space, but it was very challenging to make sure guests were happy with the views and things like that. So that was a challenge over here. We built these little like domes, little references to igloos, I suppose, and at night they do light up. These little bulbs are little lights. We have the coloration here actually is absolutely beautiful with the lighting, and maybe we'll switch to nighttime, or maybe we'll get to nighttime after, you know, when we're doing our management stuff. But that was the Polar Bear Mafia in action over there. We do have our Sapmi stables as well. This is for our reindeer. Again, finding a way to build little tent-type structures, fabric-looking structures for, you know, out of not fabric. So pretty pleased, actually, with how these turned out. They work quite well. They're, again, cultural reference, so I'm always a fan of that. We do also have ourselves an albino white reindeer, white coat. We have ourselves an albino reindeer. I think the term is albino even for reindeers. And we've got another little baby over here, Luvia. Brown and white coat. I suspect they don't have too much variance either. Brown and white coat, yeah. That's our reindeers in action over here. And we actually have another little, like, campfire type thing just away from there. Nice warm glow that you can see. A lot of, like, little eating spots and whatnot. very, very communal feeling, very, very community-oriented kind of feeling over here. And then further down and through, you actually go literally further down over here and go through, you end up at the beautiful Mount Dendali, which it was another kind of challenging build. It worked out pretty well the first time, apart from a couple of escapes. But our goats over here have a lot of climbing surfaces. They're able to kind of go around. Their resting spaces are up high and in caves, so they're, you know, fairly comfortable with that. I do believe we cut off some of their access at one point because they were getting really notorious at escaping. But even then, like, despite cutting their access off to certain areas, they have a huge amount of room to play. There's another level up over here where they can rest at, a separate track that they can go through over here and climb up even higher. As they do, which is the coolest part. The animal actually interacts with this space. They actually climb up, they explore. And it made me very happy to see this get done, because I thought I thought it touched on the animal's like natural instinct and interest so much. So I'm very pleased with Mount Dendali, actually. I don't think Mount Dendali gets the love it deserves, because it's a relatively quote-unquote simple enclosure, in the sense of, like, there's no technical madness or anything going on over here, but it is I really do like how the paths and stuff all worked out, and the animal actually does, like I say, you know, explore these higher ground areas. I was super pleased with that. Now, the connection over here, the angle over here also, was in the hopes of getting people to visit Aurora Borealis a bit more, which is actually inside one of those igloos we were talking about earlier, as an opportunity to kind of look at the animals from a more interesting view. This place, unfortunately, has 0 visitors ever, which is really quite upsetting, because it took so much time and effort to build. It's a beautiful place when it's lit up at night, especially. But yeah, people just don't want to travel this far. Lesson learned, though. That Elite Zoo North was a lot of lessons being learned. We have our little ice skating rink over here as well, that we built with a lot of time and effort, putting down glass to create what looks like a little ice skating rink. And this is a part of our humble Russian-style village, the Sovakoshka Skating Center, which is connected to, well, a little ride over here, actually, that you can take to go past our Arctic wolves. And you can see a pair of them down over here. Man, what a great ride, actually. Right off the bat, you see a pair of Arctic wolves. Let's see if they've got any coat variants. Oh, they look like they're fighting. I don't like that. Why are you fighting? Green white fur coat with brown mottling. White fur coat with brown mottling. I mean, they are a little different. You can kind of tell they look a little different, actually, which is really nice. It's just the subtleties are just, they are quite nice, I would say. Anyway, sorry, this is turning into a tour. My apologies. But yeah, we have this little walkway as well, which was, you know, busy enough when we had a full guest, like, unlimited guests welcome in. But yeah, even here, we have a very big kind of like nature trail kind of a thing going on. We have a waterfall coming in from Mount Dendali, basically. At the back of Mount Dendali, there's a waterfall, and that forms a river. And I'm really actually quite happy with how this river looks as well. Kind of going down this way, weaving a little left and right. It does go through some, you know, trees and rocks and whatnot, splits up into 2 and then comes back together. It was a fun little build over here, I would say. And a nice big kind of lake kind of a thing at the end as well. Now, the other side of that is this glorious construct to our Siberian tigers. Of course, can't exclude our Siberian tigers. Stanislav and Olga as well has their lovely little baby, Marina. That's so cute, so grumpy looking. Look at that face, so grumpy. So grumpy. But yeah, this is another kind of as you can see, we had a lot of like temple constructs and just constructs in general going on at Elite Zoo North. So Elite Zoo South has definitely been a lot more natural inspired, focused on natural environments, natural spaces, that kind of a thing. But this was also a challenge, actually, because the tigers were able to clip through the glass. Well, they were able to climb this and escape. There was no holding them back. So we put the glass down, and then eventually they were able to clip through the glass and still climb things. But we've got it all sorted now in this beautiful little shrine/temple build over here. And again, the lighting is quite nice on it, so hopefully we do get to see it at night. What else? I mean, I don't want to show everything, but I feel like I kind of am. I definitely want to touch on our snow leopard enclosure as well. This was, I mean, this was 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes worth of work. And in the snow, it just looks absolute. Oh my. I really like it in the snow. But yeah, snow leopards and the bears over here as well, the Himalayan bears, one of whom we'd actually won from a challenge that we'd accomplished. But yeah, this is it's worked out relatively well. There are, I mean, guests come here for the high viewing angle, just not as often as I'd like them to. Maybe I do use the water to bring them up here, but typically they stay down over here and get a view of the leopards down over here. And they also, unfortunately, don't really make their way too much to the other interesting viewing cave that we built. Literally a viewing cave, which is, you know, tucked away, very cozy, very quaint, very quiet. Wanted to go for that kind of like, you know, sequestered monk, you know, peaceful, kind of a tranquil kind of a feel. But yeah, it unfortunately doesn't get too many visitors. Most people look at these animals from actually down over here, where I mean, obviously you get a pretty good view as well. The leopards, by the way, have a really fun kind of climbing platform, and they do climb these. They do get all the way up to here. They have a lot of fun with this space, I think. So I'm quite pleased with this enclosure as well. With both of these enclosures, actually, especially visually, because the bears as well. You can actually see the bears from the Himalayan hideout as well, which is this. What? Why? Oh, right. I forgot. You have to take a left turn, which is a very intimate view of some very adorable animals. Oh my god, they're so cute. I can't get over them. Gray brown fur. I assume it's all the same. Gray brown fur. Even the adults look so cute. Chocolate brown fur. Red brown fur. Oh, okay, let's see. I mean, definitely there's a color difference there, right? Like, you can see it. That's pretty neat. That is pretty neat. It's nice. Again, it doesn't have to be blatant and in your face. Oh my, can we just take a moment? Can we just take a moment? Just so cute. They're so cute. Last thing I think I want to touch on before we start doing some management stuff, and I'm sure to have upset somebody because I excluded their animal from this mini tour, but the last thing I want to touch on is the Great Pandemonium. Basically, this was a joke on the fact that originally red pandas were the panda until these pandas came along and stole their name. So we've built an entire like storyline over here of the war between the pandas, and the idea was that guests would vote for their favorite panda by donating on either one side or the other. Red pandas are winning. A really elaborate kind of structures over here as well. Like the pandas themselves just went for kind of a traditional garden feel. We built a gazebo and everything for them as well, which again they do use. It's nice to see. We've also built little like climbing watchtowers, if you will, for them, which they also do climb on top of and use, which is also nice to see. And on the flip side, we have the red pandas who have a much smaller. Oh yeah, by the way, for A Song of Ice and Fire fans, it is the Red Keep, but it's a much smaller enclosure. They don't need that much. This was me learning my lesson about not making enclosures too big, and we of course can't ignore the adorableness of the red panda. Oh, so cute. The best. In fact, when we first brought red pandas in, one just sat here and stared at the wall for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes straight, which is why we actually put this down. That's why this random painting is over there. Man, so many fond memories of Elite Zoo North. But yeah, we built them a little watchtower of their own so they can watch upon the dangerous panda. And they have a trebuchet as well, which I have not seen them use, unfortunately. They are able to access it. They are able to climb it, but I haven't seen them use it, unfortunately. And I guess since we're over here, we can also take a look at the... also for A Song of Ice and Fire fans, Longclaw Armory. To complete the castle kind of look and feel and idea, our armored animal over here, the pangolin, is in an armory. And we actually built even a little stand for armor out of the water pipe. Ooh, hello, that's a different looking color. Light gray layered scales and brown skin. Yes, that's a very different looking. Wow. Wow, those are very different. Those are more different than any of the other animals. Even the wolves. Nice, that's nice, cool. And actually the red pandas, let me see. I should check the red pandas and the giant pandas as well. Red orange, you don't say. Can I find any more of them? Oh, there we go. They look kind of similar, actually. Dark red fur. Hard to tell. They're so far apart. Lighting and everything changes as well, right? So it's so hard to tell. Bright red fur. I mean, yeah, these two are definitely different. You can see the difference there. Actually, it's ever so faint, but you can tell. I mean, hopefully YouTube's not compressing this and it's impossible to tell. But you can kind of see. And what about the pandas? I guess we could look at the pandas too. Black and white. Oh my god, it is. It's legit. It's just like black and white fur. Oh my god. Oh yeah. This is Castle Black and White, by the way, right? All of our A Song of Ice and Fire references in one spot. Black and white fur and moment of truth, black and white fur. Who'd have thought? Cool. I think that's enough looking around. I mean, we have quite a few rides, well, not rides, but like you know, traveling things as well. We can take a look at our Gharial and our Crocs too. I mean, our Crocs over at beautiful space that they often like just kind of relax into. Yeah, I was just about to say, they always stop at a point where they can hold all the boats back. But that's okay. We don't often move them around, but it's fine to do it every once in a while. It's part of the ride, right? It's part of the experience going through the boat, going through the enclosure. And then we have the Gharial over here as well, which is the transition from West and South Asia into Southeast Asia. Oh yeah, and also you can see how all these signs are different. They're thematic to the region you're going into or leaving out of. These guys, I doubt they have gray and yellow. Gray and yellow. Yeah, I doubt they have a lot of variation. Whoa. Be good. Gray and yellow, yeah. Okay, so I think that's enough of looking at animals. We don't have much time left to do the management stuff. My apologies there. But hopefully we can tackle some of the issues. Many guests think tickets are underpriced. I'm very curious about that. We're going to leave it as is for now and respond to that if it stays that way. Vet cannot reach habitat. Okay, so the red keep is causing issues. I do wonder if it's because we're paused over here. We are properly connected and everything. We'll keep an eye on that. And a lot of low welfare, I assume, because we're not able to reach these spaces. Oh, right, the Japanese macaque. How could I forget about these guys? I didn't forget about them, but it's like, how could I not include them in our conversation? Because for these guys, we built a nice, well, we built Nihonzaru Springs, so kind of like a hot spring bath kind of a thing because of the typical imagery of seeing the Japanese macaque in the hot springs and whatnot. We also have a little like climbing platform for them up over here, like they have bunk beds and whatnot, which is pretty fun. They do use this as well. They sleep nicely on that, so it is nice to see. And there's a monkey. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Taking a nap over here? You just sitting and taking a nap? I think so. We've got a maturing red panda. We have some issues here, though. Okay, so let's see. Ukarinit is dead, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and call the vet up over here. Let's keep an eye on these red pandas and whatnot. Dangerous fighting at Kathmandu. Go ahead and deal with that as well. We need to get rid of... The moment we get into management, it gets... it's like... I want to make the right decisions here. Kind of old, but... I think you have to stay. Taban. Go ahead and take a look at your stats over here real quick, and your mates as well. Is this an option? Inbreeding, yeah. So let's go ahead and send... I mean, the genetics, great, but let's go ahead and put you into the trade center. Eventually, we'll do a trading session. And what I typically do is I tweet out when I'm going to do a trading session, and that way anybody who's able to be there at the same time, they can kind of pick up animals and stuff if they want to. Because I try to keep them fairly priced as I ship out decent, at least, quality animals. I try to keep them fairly priced. Over here, we have some overcrowding as well, so let's go ahead and get rid of 1 male, 2 male, 3 male. Really? 3 males is overcrowding? Doesn't make any sense. Where's my... Zoopedia here? 1 to 7. I guess we are overcrowding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, yeah, we're definitely overcrowding. Go ahead and get you infertile. Hang on a sec. Oh, just because of the contraceptives, of course. Of course. Go ahead and move you to the trade center. And I should just check on our Viraj over here and see if he's actually able to mate with anybody. A lot of inbreeding, which is why a lot of them are on contraceptives. So Viraj might actually need to go. Let's go ahead and just put him in the trade center as well for now. In fact, we might have a ton of inbreeding across the board here. Come on now, show me there's some inbreeding potential here. This has got to be inbreeding. That's got to be inbreeding as well, right? For sure. We might want to bring... It bothers me that inbreeding isn't the top level warning. Well, for now, let's do that cleanup and let's see if we can't solve the financial situation over here. Let's go ahead and hit play. And again, we're going to get a little bit of lag. Hopefully the financial situation is very much the result of fewer guests showing up. But as we've upped the limit now, I really hope to see more guests come through. And I really hope to see this turn around. Because this ain't right. This ain't right. Ongoing expenses. Income dropped significantly. That's got to be because of fewer guests coming through, right? Yeah, we went from 104k 2 years ago to less than 10k last year. So that's just it. It's the reduced guest count. We've got a maturing red panda. What have we got over here? Low welfare. Is our staff still not able to reach the habitat? How? Why? What's going on here? Possibly due to work zone setup, it says. Let's see. Work zone staff. Work zones. East Asia. Includes everything here, yeah. I mean, if I want to play it safe, I could add like an India center to this as well. Or you know what it could be? Let's see, who can't reach here? Mechanic, keeper, vet. Mechanic, keeper, vet. Jeez, we have so many vendors. No work zones for any of our vets, so they should be able to reach, no problem. In that case, like, I shouldn't even need to check mechanics and keepers, because that means that there's a greater problem over here. And it's really not telling me why. Trying the good old-fashioned build it again and maybe it'll recalculate things approach here. Nope. Got this path, yep. Goes down this way, yep. All the way down. Oh, there we go, there we go. Hey, wow, maybe that actually did fix things. Facility inaccessible. Why? Got a road connection down, or a path connection down over here. Don't we? Oh, we don't. When did that happen? What? What is going on? Obstructed. What is going on? We could get rid of this washroom. I mean, it looks like we're doing fine without it, I suppose. And see if a connection here is possible. No, it's not. Leave it be for now. I don't want to get into like minutia right now. I want to solve the big problem here about our financial situation. Grizzly Bears of overcrowding going on. Oh, what a cutie. What's this overcrowding? Oh, taking a nap. So much for fighting. Alright, Tyler, Watkins. Who has to go? I'm guessing Watkins has to go. Yeah. Watkins and Gezan cannot be here. So, Watkins. Buddy. This is why you have to go over to the trade center. We did see, though, briefly, we did see that they were a different color. So, there's that coat dilemma taken care of. Yeah, Valora and Tyler should result in some pretty good babies, I would say. Pretty good babies. But yeah, you can see the difference in coat actually. A lot more, I would say a lot more brownish over here. All brown black fur. Whereas over here, it's a lot darker. Now again, different lighting and stuff, but it does feel a lot darker. Our timber wolf is about to mature. Go ahead and take a peek at that. I mean, can never complain about looking at pups and dogwoods too much, can we? Also, I will say the lag is not as bad as it once was, if I'm completely honest. Maybe I'm mistaken, maybe I forget, but maybe I just got used to it or something, but... I mean, it's not perfect. This ain't 60 frames per second, but... Oh god, there's that spike. Ain't bad. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as I remember it. Are you gonna go up there? Oh, man. Oh, I missed the opportunity there. There was another great, like, spot, like another great shot. Buddy sitting still. Find a little hidey hole to mature in. Oh, cute. You might be taking a nap. Big ol' yawn there. Big ol' howl there. Alright. You do you, buddy. You mature when you want to. No one can rush you into growing up. In fact, maybe I'd rather you don't. So cute. Nah, they're cute always. Facilities without power. That might just be because this thing needs repairs. Yeah. So it'll get repaired. Don't need to stay on top of that so much. It'll be fine. I mean, overall, I suspect things are doing better now. What are we not meeting the needs of? Happiness over here. Happiness. I wonder what's affecting that. As we take a look at... you might have heard me mention, actually, Camelot 1 and Camelot 2, because they're parking lots for camels. You might have heard me mention the Oasis Outpost, maybe not in name, but in structure, where we have a central circular viewing point around which the camels are... typically, they're like right up over here. Really, it's starting to snow already? Oh, it's February. Typically, they're like right up over here. No, there they are. And they draw a lot of money when there's a crowd. Like when there's a decent crowd, they draw a lot of money because of this very centralized viewing point, which is what we tried to recreate at Pachamama's Garden at Elite Zoo South. So that's when you might have heard me kind of, again, allude to this. How are you doing, buddy? Green wool coat. Those are both the same. I recall. Yeah. And even camels. Camels are so cute. Ooh, you're different. For sure you're different. Humpy. Oh my god. You look different. Cream wool coat, but look at the difference between the tones here. That's more like too much milk in your tea. Too much cream in your tea, I guess. Ugh. I can't do cream in tea. Milk and sugar's the way to go. Lead-in balloons. Why is it called lead-in balloons again? Is this in? Yeah, it is. It is. It is. This is at the Russian village-inspired skate area. Yeah, we have some good names up in here. Money is looking good though. I mean, it's dropped down to 600, but it's looking up now overall. I think happiness is taken care of as well. I'm very curious as to, I didn't even look at what was causing people to be unhappy, but I guess they're fine now. People have stopped complaining about the guest or the ticket prices. I think what happened, which I suspected, was that we had like 20 guests, and of those 20 guests, 10 were like, oh, that's pretty cheap, or like, oh, that's okay. And so the game was like, whoa, most of your guests think it's fine or it's cheap. Whereas in reality, when you get 100 guests, it's still only 10 people who are okay with the price, and now it's like, well, guests are okay with the price. Yeah, ticket price is fair. That's what I remember. Okay, so that's looking a lot better. It's going to take us some time to catch up still, because, like, again, we went from 100k or whatever it was 2 years ago to about 10k. We've already doubled that, so that's good. But the reality is these guests, they have to, like, spread through the zoo. They have to permeate through the zoo, if you will. And they have to reach the different areas, drop down their donations, see the really impressive experiences and whatnot. Like, until, like, again, the orangutan here is a big moneymaker. But not when there's only 7 people and a horse investigating the area. Like, no donations here. Every time we checked this area, when it was in full swing, it would have 1,000 plus in donations. What's wrong with your welfare here? Stress, I guess? Social group. Too many adults. Or are these guys growing up now? There's a few of them might be growing up right now. reaching... Or were they already adults? Maybe I need to sort that out, actually. Can't remember now. Go ahead and move all of you into the trade center as well. We might need to do a trading session soon. It is Manuel who is our keeper, I believe. With his fantastic stats. We'll bring him back in and find him a mate, because we do need him a mate, actually, as well. Lots of babies here still. It's not like the enclosure is empty or anything. Lots of babies still for people to look at, but definitely want to make sure we have animals and appropriate animals available for breeding. A little bit of stress. Just gotta hide, buddy. Just gotta hide. This is one-way glass and everything. They've always been notoriously stressed out. Just constantly and consistently. Yo, Havoc, you play this game? Hey, man. Hello. Pocahontas, let's say hello to you as well. That's an amazing outfit. My god, that is amazing. Makes me think of all of our flamingo issues. We were flamingoing crazy with our go ahead and pause this real quick with our beautiful but stressful flamingo park over here. Man, we had to get rid of like all the trees and everything after all the effort we made. I had to put down one-way viewing glass because the animals were just constantly stressed out. If you ever see me complaining about stressing flamingos, that's why. Because I mean, like, I still like the enclosure, but we had so many more trees, we had so much more going on over here, and we had to, like, strip it all down, basically. So that was far from ideal. Looks like we have an issue at Crash Corner over here. A group of rhinos is called a crash, hence Crash Corner. Danu, let's go ahead and get rid of you. Into the trade center, please. I need to fight. It would be inbreeding and stuff otherwise. Facilities without power. We need to get this, Normally they've been pretty good at this. Again, there have been so many changes and updates to the game between the last time we played and this time. Go ahead and get the mechanic up over here. We need to fix that. We need to fix that. Urgently. Urgently. Now, how do I feel about our circumstances here? Money's still going down, but it's going down by less. Again, it's just a matter of those guests coming through, spreading their presence, I suppose. That's the way to put it. Spreading their presence throughout the zoo and donating in various spots. Now, it is daytime, but I think I would be a fool not to at least try and... hopefully this doesn't break the game. It probably will. It'll probably crash. But I really do want to show... Oh, nice. What this space looks like at night. Because I'm really proud of it. I do think it's got something magical to it. I think it is really quite special. It's not as... You know what? I think the lighting and stuff is maybe changed. No, maybe... Oh, you know what? It's just because it's not as dark as it could be. See if we can't get a little bit darker here. There we go. Oh, look at that reflection even. There it is. Like, I was really pleased with this. I was very pleased with this. And over here as well. Got an Ursa Major and an Ursa Minor as well, I think, on that one too. If I recall correctly, my constellations. But yeah, the lighting work in this zoo was also very... I would say we went more vibrant here, whereas we might be going subtle with Elite Zoo South. Lots of bright colors, lots of bright hues, bright lights, hot spots, all kinds of like using backlighting and stuff like that to get things to glow. A lot of that using the lighting up trees as well, like underlighting the trees so they feel ethereal as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed the lighting over here. And just to touch on it, the wayfinding that people keep mentioning, and if you're wondering what that wayfinding is, it's these lit lines on the ground of different colors that tell people how to get to different regions. The reason why I'm not too worried about it yet is because it's regional. So right now we haven't added like 20 regions or anything. So it shouldn't be that difficult to add to our zoo. But that color coordination lines up with the signage we have up here as well. Wow, sorry about that. So yeah, that's the the wayfinding that often gets mentioned, and why it's mentioned as a time-consuming endeavor is because it will be. We didn't get to complete it at Elite Zoo North because it is so, yes, time-consuming. But yeah, that I just wanted to highlight the lighting work here as well, because I do think it is. I'm quite happy with it. Let's put it that way. I'm quite pleased with how a lot of this stuff has come together. If we go up over here as well, that's our Korean area. If the colors didn't give it away, we've also got our. Where is? Oh yeah, these are the little Tibetan monasteries and whatnot. I think this is, again, just a little, okay, we do have a little bit of like more subtle areas and stuff, but a lot of it is very much about punchy, bright colors, like we have over here in our China section, if you will. Yeah. All right, folks, let's see if we can't get it back to daytime over here. Watch, this is when the game crashes. Oh, nice. We made it. We made it. Go back to noon. Ow, that's bright. Back to noon. I think things are okay now. I mean, money is still looking bad, but the reality is that the tide's turning. We're going to start. We're already making more money than we were making last year, and I think the tide is turning now. And I think it was just a matter of guest count. Guests are happy as well, which is good to see. So in no time, we will be, you know, kind of back up and running at full speed or capacity or whatever you want to call it, and we'll be making, I think, enough money to be you know, again, sustainable again. Anyway, folks, this is where we're going to call it a session. I'm actually losing my voice. I did a 3-hour stream earlier today, and I apologize if the hoarseness of my voice has come through earlier, but I just now noticed that it's becoming harder to talk. So I'm going to call it a session over here. Was it a productive episode? I think so. We came back, we cleaned up a lot of the issues. Oh, how could I forget? No. We can't call it a... Oh, man. How can I forget? How can I forget? Sorry. We gotta go. We gotta go over here to the East Asia section. Down over here at one of our major experiments, Formosan Falls. We just dug a huge hole in the ground, and we were like, let's go for it. And it worked out. We have this massive enclosure for the Formosan Bears, inspired by geography and geographical features in Taiwan. Nice to see these guys still doing all right. A couple babies as well. A couple of babies, huh? It never ends. It never ends. They're the same coats and stuff. But yeah, this, I can't believe, yeah, we almost called it a session without looking at this. I know at least one person who'd be very upset at me for doing so. And I don't disagree. Because this is, I mean, we have a nice big waterfall back over here as well. If we hit play for even just a moment, it should activate. There we go. Nice big waterfall back over here. It is Formosan Falls after all. And again, just like an intricate build over here, but a more natural one, and a huge experiment for us to just like dig a hole in the ground over here. So that was a lot of fun as well. That was another major one. We did a lot of experimentation. We had a lot of fun with Elite Zoo North, and we continue to have fun with Elite Zoo South as well. I think this session was a good one, a few different ways. You can see some of the ideas that we've played with before, what we've had fun with, how we've experimented before, and what that might hold for Elite Zoo South. That is, if you've never seen Elite Zoo North. And even if you have seen Elite Zoo North, it's a good opportunity for us to come back, visit the old animals, and we did get a lot done. We did clean up a lot of the overcrowding and whatnot. We did fix a pathing issue that existed for no reason, and we did fix our financial situation. Even though it might not look like it right now, it is very much, I would say, on the up right now. It's just a matter of, yeah, guests coming through and spending that money. It's only May. We've already made... We've made a decent sum. We could stand to make more. Maybe we'll come. Well, I mean, we will come back to Elite Zoo North again at some point, but depending on your comments to this episode, I will know if I should do that sooner rather than later. I felt again like this was a nice opportunity to do so. Start of a new month, a little bit of a throwback, and now we can head back to Elite Zoo South, knowing full well that the rest of our franchise is doing quite all right, and that there is money flowing. Guests are happy, animals are happy, we're happy, hopefully. But yeah, folks, next session we will be back with Elite Zoo South and continuing our finishing off of, I would say, the kangaroo and jaguar enclosure. Maybe we actually get another enclosure going as well, potentially. I don't know. But we'll see about that, and do a little bit of management at Elite Zoo South as well to make sure everything is going smoothly over there. I hope you enjoyed this session. This is what we're going to call it. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. If you didn't, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a comment down below as well. Funny date to end on. The 26th of May is Miss Elite's birthday, so that's just a fun note for me, I guess, personally, but thought I'd share. Folks, the other thing I'd like to share is my massive thanks to all of my channel members and patrons for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.